What's up, college football fans? Aaron Murray here with Snaps. I'm about to call the South Carolina Old Dominion game here at Williams-Brice Stadium in about an hour on the SEC Network. So I do apologize if you hear a little ruckus behind me, some doors opening and closing. I'm up here in the booth. We're near the booth trying to find a quiet spot to do this show. Post-game Georgia against the Clemson Tigers, and we're going to break it all down. We're going to start with Georgia first. We'll work our way to Clemson. Make sure everyone jump in the chat, leave your comments. I'll get to a couple of them throughout the show as well. And man, it was all dogs in this one. A little bit of a slow half, 6-0 going to halftime. Georgia ends up pulling away 34-3 in the game. So like I said, let's start with Georgia first because we want to focus on the positives. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Dabo and the not taking transfers and what it's done to that roster over the past couple of years. And obviously my thoughts on Cade Klubnik. Georgia going into the game, first thing first, number one team in the country, but was going to be without their top two running backs. And I've been a guy that, if you listen to Snaps, really excited about Trevor Etienne. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. So we'll see if it's a one-game suspension or more. But to look that good on offense without your star running back, the guy that you got in the portal from the Florida Gators, I think says a lot. It was a game where it was a little bit slow. I think some of the young guys running the football were trying to get their feet wet. You could kind of feel Bobo as well, just getting his feet wet a little bit there in the first half. You know, a couple of the screens. I know some fans were frustrated about with some of the screens being thrown, but you know, there is no preseason, and I know there's scrimmages. I get that, but you're trying to feel each other out. It's like a boxing match, and Clemson's still a team that has 4- and 5-star guys, that has a coach that's won multiple national championships in the past 7 or 8 years. You can't just go in there guns blazing all the time. You got to feel each other out for a little bit, see what they're doing off defensively, see what their personnel looks like defensively, you know, how that's maybe changed their identity on that side of the football heading into the season. So really a feel it out, kind of take your shots here or there, but really just, you know, let's not really make a mistake. I think that's the number one thing that kills really good teams early on in the season is when you make mistakes, when you turn the football over, when you try and force balls down the field, when you throw interceptions. And Georgia wasn't doing that. Like, there was never, to me, a moment where it felt like Georgia wasn't in control of the football game, that Georgia at one point wasn't going to just essentially just pull away and do what they did, winning the game 34-3. So slow start offensively first half. Second half really picked it up. I mean, Carson is Carson. Accurate. Some of the throws he made down the field, especially the intermediate range. You know, we talk about his quickness, the decision-making I thought was on point once again today. But getting so many receivers involved, from London Humphreys making some big plays on third down and the touchdown catch. I love the fact that Arian Smith got going and got some confidence here in the first game, 5 catches for 56 yards. He's a guy that they kept talking about on the broadcast that Bobo wants to get going. Elite speed. You know, for those who play the video game, you know it, elite speed. It's just been a lack of confidence from Arian Smith over the past few years. So you get him some confidence, see what he can do. I thought you saw some glimpses of Lawson Lucky and how talented he is. Dom Lovett was physical catching the football as well. So, and then Colby Young, the transfer with a nice touchdown catch. There is a ton of talent at the receiving position. I don't know if it's enough to, you know, make T-Bob say that Georgia's not bad at that spot, but I was impressed with the receivers. I was impressed with the quarterback and Carson Beck, and I was impressed with the running backs. Nate Frazier is an absolute stud. You've heard nothing but good things about him in camp this offseason, and he showed it here in the first game. I enjoyed watching Carson Beck run the ball as well. I thought Branson was a little bit hesitant at times running it. You know, we like to see him use his size a little bit more and be physical. Thought he was kind of a little bit soft on contact. But this was a really good Clemson defense. You know, we all know it. This is a very, very good Clemson defense. And they just got kind of worn down a little bit. I think that was the big problem. Like, you get frustrated when you can't play complimentary football. At some point, you take all that pressure and you crack. So I still think this is a really good Clemson defense. It's a really good front seven. They got some talent on the back end as well. I just think you're on the field a lot going against a really talented offense. Your offense wasn't really helping you. So, you know, when I kind of sit back and say, can Clemson still win the ACC? Can they still make the playoffs? I think they have a playoff caliber defense. They will have one of the best defenses in the country. And, you know, I think they could stop most ACC's offenses. So that defense will keep them in most games. So that's kind of the offense and defense for you know, Georgia and Clemson. Georgia defensively is unbelievable. I mean, they are We worried about the youth on the back end. They looked really good on the back end. We knew how talented they were in the front seven. I thought they looked tremendous there, from Jalen to Michael to CJ. And then, the plays that Malachi was making on the back end, Dan Jackson, I thought was all over the place as well too. The defense is as good as advertised. And, this is where Kirby makes his bread and butter. Like, this was the perfect Kirby game. Dominate defensively. Once again, Clemson can't get in the end zone versus Georgia. It's been 30 possessions since, and they still haven't scored a touchdown against Georgia dating back to 2014, for goodness sake. So Georgia has those dudes on defense. They're big, they're fast, they're physical, they tackle on space, they locate the ball in the air really well on the back end, and they just had as near perfect of a football game as you could have asked for. Flipping over to the other side, the problem still lies on Clemson, the offense. Clemson is now, I tweeted this out, Clemson is now whiffed on back-to-back quarterbacks. They were really good at quarterback for so long. Even when I was there with Taj Boyd, they were great with quarterbacks. They had 3 straight quarterbacks that were NFL caliber. Obviously, 2 are now, 2 of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. They had great playmakers at the receiving position. And I remember 2 years ago, people were complaining that, hey, DJ's not good enough, DJ. And maybe DJ wasn't. I still don't think DJ is the caliber of receiver quarterback that they've had previously. But people were begging for Klubnik to come in. And go back and check the tapes. I was saying Klubnik is not the answer. Maybe he's better than DJ. Maybe he's not. But he's not going to be the guy to elevate you to a championship. And, we saw that last year. He's not a great thrower of the football. He's a decent athlete, not a great thrower of the football. And it showed itself up again in this game right here. Inconsistency throwing it. First play of the game. I mean, that's an easy pitch and catch. Your coach scripted the first play for you. You probably knew what the play was. You've run it in practice a million times. It's a throw from me 5 yards in front. I could go out there right now, old man myself, and make the throw. And he throws it into the dirt, essentially, and it's an incompletion. Those are the things that you can't be doing that as a second-year starter. You can't be doing that. And he made a couple nice throws here or there. I give him that a couple, but overall performance-wise for Cade Klubnik, well below average. And we can say all we want, like how good that Georgia defense is. Oh, the game was essentially a home game because it was a Mercedes-Benz and it was a loud environment. If you're going to win championships, you're going to have to play in a loud environment. You're going to have to win big-time road games. You're going to have to make plays at the quarterback position. And right now, if I'm a Clemson fan, I can't sit back and say I feel confident that Cade Klubnik is going to be the guy that wins us a championship this year. So I don't think they have another guy on the roster that they're going to switch out for him. But going back to talking about before, they are going to have to win games because of the defense. They're going to have to win games with the turnover battle. They're going to have to win games because Phil Maffa is just a big SOB and can just pound the rock over and over again. But, when you're only getting 46 yards total rushing for Clemson in this game, that their identity is going to have to be great defense, run the football, shorten games, and win low-scoring football games. They don't have the explosiveness on the outside. They don't have the quarterback to create explosive plays through the air on the outside as well, too. So I think good thing for Clemson, the ACC doesn't look super strong this year. As of right now, I mean, we'll find out in about 4 minutes what Miami looks like as they go on to play Florida in the Swamp. But Florida State doesn't look like world beaters. We'll see the improvement from week 1 to week 2 when they play Boston College on Monday night. But Florida State doesn't look like they're elite on offense. Look like a little bit struggle on defense. So we'll find out how good Miami is. NC State struggled last night to play. The conference is wide open. The conference is absolutely wide open. So Clemson is not out of by any means. They're still probably the 1 or 2 most talented roster in that conference. I'm just saying they are not, to me, we're going to go win a national championship. So for Dabo, I thought this was the perfect game. You have to look yourself in the mirror a little bit. 0 players have started from the transfer portal in Clemson since the portal opened. And then you look at Georgia, and I know these aren't the players that won the game for Georgia, but they had 2 receivers catch touchdowns that Georgia got in the portal this offseason. You have to use the portal to get key pieces to surround your talented 4- and 5-star guys that you're able to recruit and are the aims of developing down the line. And Dabo is not doing that, and it showed itself once again in this game. So maybe after this season, he'll learn a little bit. We'll find out. I'm going to go to Super Chat real quick. Brian Turner, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate everyone tuning in right now. T-Bob and I will be doing a post-week 1 show tomorrow morning. So he'll be back. I think he's in Vegas right now, a little too drunk, so couldn't join me on this one. But Turner says Georgia's offense line this year could very well be the 2012 Alabama level. I don't think people truly understand how special that group is. I think they're incredible. And then you put ETN back there, and get him going as well. What I saw is I was on the field for the spring game for Georgia, and seeing ETN move and seeing how he catches the ball so well in the backfield. You add that dynamic to this offense as well, along with Frazier, and then what Dylan Dell can do as a pass catcher and a running back as well. They have some pieces that are very unique. You can move some of the tight ends around. You can move Lawson around. You can move some of the running backs around. You can throw the ball in the backfield to them as well. So Bobo has a complete offense. First-round quarterback, elite offensive line. I think a really, really good stable of running backs they didn't have last year. I think you're going to see the improvement from the receivers. I believe you saw that here in the first game of the season if they can stay healthy. So I think all in all, you walk away from this game saying Georgia, number one team in the country, no doubt about it. We'll see what Ohio State looks like. They play Akron, so I don't know how accurate of a take that's going to be. I think all eyes will be on Will Howard to see what he looks like and how comfortable he looks in the offense. But there is not – please tell me if I'm wrong in the chat. Right now you look at Georgia, there is not a weakness on the football team. Hell, their kicker kicked a 50-yard field goal. They got a great punter from Australia. They got the special teams. They got elite defense. They got the offense. Right now, it is hard for me to sit back and say, hey, Georgia's going to lose because of this position group or because of this. If they stay healthy, knock on wood, something they couldn't stay healthy last season, which hindered them, I think, from being possibly a national championship team. They have all the pieces you want to be one of the best teams that Kirby has had since he took over at the University of Georgia, and that is pretty damn scary. So big win for the Dogs. Clemson, got to look yourself in the mirror a little bit. Still a really, really good football team with a lot of talent, especially on the defensive side. And, that's about it. Appreciate everyone jumping in. Hope everyone enjoyed this quick recap show. I got to get my butt in the booth because I got to prepare for my game here in about 45 minutes. So tune in, watch that on the SEC Network. And then don't forget, tomorrow morning we'll release a time, but T-Bob and I will do a week one breakdown. Also go check out all my quarterback breakdowns. Did one Shedeur Sanders. I'll do one to Carson. Make sure you leave some chats as well. Let me know what quarterbacks you want me to do an in-depth breakdown on. I'll get through that throughout the week. Hopefully, trying to do 5 to 10 quarterback breakdowns per week because it seems like everyone's enjoying that. But subscribe, all that good stuff. We got a lot of momentum right here on Snaps. Would love to see about 20K subscribers by the end of September. I think we could easily get there, if not more. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy these games, and we will see you tomorrow with another Snaps Live. See ya.